Now I'll just show you through the Spectrum range of fish foods. Now I'll start with the top shelf. Now this one here is Finicky Fish. This is the highest quality of all the Spectrum foods. So no matter what sort of fish you have, regardless of whether it's a goldfish, a Moorish idol, a Tropheus, it doesn't matter. This is the highest quality food you can get, and you can feed this to any sort of fish because they've found that the absorption ratios of one fish to another is predominantly the same. It's how the fish have evolved in times of scarcity that allow the fish to eat what they eat, but the actual ratio of nutrients that they actually absorb is pretty much the same. So it really isn't the case where you can only feed this food to this fish and that food to that fish. If the quality of the food is lower, then that is the case. But with high quality food which is set at the absorption rate of the fish, this is the only food you need to feed. So that's your top shelf. The second highest quality in the range is Thera A. Thera A is very high in garlic. It's basically a non-medicated parasite remedy. Garlic is great for the general health of the fish and great to help repel parasites, because parasites don't like garlic. So the Spectrum comes in different size pellets. It comes in your very tiny pellets, which are 1/2 mil. From 1/2 mil it goes up to 1 mil. From 1 mil it goes up to 2 mil. You can also get 3 mil. Then you can get some of the very large pellets, like your 4.5 mil, which is your jumbo, and even your 7.5 mil, which is your extra large fish. And then from there you can also get the Wafers, and you can feed these to all fish. This is not strictly an algae wafer. You can feed this to any sort of fish, it doesn't matter. You can crush it up if the wafer's too large, but you can, perfect for feeding catfish. So now talking about each individual food. So this one is your Freshwater Flake. I opt away from flakes where possible because flakes are going to lose their nutrients much faster. Some studies have suggested that flakes can lose their vitamins within 30 seconds once in water. Now with all food too, it's also really important that the food stays fresh. So what you want to do is keep the food in a relatively small jar, and if you want value, you buy it big. So you buy yourself a bucket, but you want to try, oxygen is the killer, so you want to try and get a small container, and you fill the small container up with food from the bucket, and then you use the food from the small container. Then you keep the bucket sealed all the time, because if the bucket is always sealed, then the food will stay fresh. So basically there's a freshwater flake, there's a saltwater flake, there's an algae wafer for all your bottom feeding fish, there's Thera A small fish, there's Thera A 1 mil, which is 1 mil is by far the most popular size because that's all your sort of average size aquarium fish. If you start talking about bigger fish, sort of that size and larger, you start talking about 2 mil. 3 mil is for quite large fish, like decent sized fish. So then you go up to 3 mil. That's all in your Thera A, which is your top shelf stuff. Now Spectrum do have a fry starter. I do believe that you can use any of the Spectrum foods and you can put it in your paste and grind it up. It comes out like a paste. There is your Grow formula, which is slightly higher in protein and excellent for feeding young fish. Then there's your small fish formula, perfect for tetras and stuff like that. There is your surface feeder, and with all Spectrum, if you just drop it lightly on the surface, you'll find it tends to float for a little while and then slowly sink down. But your surface feeder is a floater. You've got your all-purpose. Once again, when Spectrum was first released, it was released pretty much as all-purpose, and it didn't sell very well because a lot of people like to see their fish on the label to buy it. So they made some subtle changes and released the food. But once again, I stand by the fact that you can feed any Spectrum to any fish. So I reckon it's all-purpose. You've got Community Diet. You've got Discus. You've got Spectrum for cichlids. So most average cichlids will go for that one. And so once again, I only actually believe it is the size of the pellet that makes a difference. I get great results from Spectrum no matter which fish I feed them to. This is for your very large fish, excellent for koi and stuff like that. There is a koi formula as well that I don't have right now. Got your jumbo fish, excellent for Saratogas, anything like that. Your extra large fish is a floater too, so this one floats whereas most of them sink. You've got your large fish formula. You've got your goldfish. Goldfish come in two size pellets, 1 mil and 3 mil. You've got your medium fish, which is 2 mil. You've got your Siamese fighting one. There's your Finicky Fish, which is the best of all of them. So if you're going to select one, you select that one. You pay a little bit more for it, but it's worth it. You've got your micro feeder. Now this is excellent for feeding for Gonopora. It's good for various corals and stuff like that. It's an excellent food supplement for corals. It's also excellent for jellyfish. If you've got jellyfish, like moon jellyfish or whatever, this micro feeder is excellent food for jellyfish. Now you've also got macro feeder. This you can feed this to coral. You can feed it to crustaceans. You've got the marine formula, and then they all come in the buckets as well. So once again, buying them in the bucket, but using them in the small label as the small tin jar is really the best way to go about this food. So the bigger the size you buy, obviously the better value it is, and that's providing that you're making an effort to keep the lid sealed on the big one so it doesn't go off. Because of regular use, you want to be replacing this food within sort of 1 to 2 years, but you get away with it for a lot longer if you're using the bucket and you're just opening it and closing it. Anyway, put a little note down the bottom, tell us about your experience with this food, tell us what you think, and I love it. I think this is by far the best food on the market.